as we get this going. So this is already my second stream of the day as well, guys. I already streamed like 3 hours earlier for the Korean qualifier for next. There's no EU qualifier today, so we didn't stay alive or anything, with the intention of obviously coming back and doing this right now. So let's see what happens. We're going to start off in the bottom left-hand corner of the map with the blue Terran player. This is Cure. As on the top right, our red Zerg is going to be DRG. We figure out how this is going to play out. It's okay, what your health is 1 point. I mean, it's not about my health, it's about my ability to do anything. Like, you know, it's just like, there's just so much StarCraft going on, and yeah, like I say, I am just so busy I can't actually physically cast all the StarCraft that I want to cast. Which I'm a bit sad about, because obviously some of it is my own tournament, which is obviously shitty. It's just been a mess, like more of a mess than I wanted it to be, and now I have to organize player schedules after tonight and stuff as well. And once we figure out what the playoffs look like, which we will know by the end of today, I'm just going to announce this. I'm just going to show you guys, or have a look myself at the results from Korea, even if we don't cast everything, which we won't. There's like literally like 20 series we haven't casted from Korea. There's no way we're going through 20 series today, so we're just going to have a look at the playoffs, then I can start to schedule players in the playoffs and get all of that stuff sorted out and just go from there. That's the current plan of action. DRG and Q already played some days ago. Okay, you guys are going to have to really read the bracket command and help everyone else read the bracket command as well, because I can't answer this every 2 seconds, because otherwise I'm not actually going to cast anything. I'm just going to explain to you guys how these games were played. I was casting something else, so these are the replays. We just try to cast anything that we can from the tournament. Okay? Okay, we good? We good? We good? We good? Chat, I'll cast. You guys in chat help the other guys in chat, okay? Pass the message along. Spam !B when people ask. And then when they still don't read it, you can feel how I feel a lot of the time. Alright. So, game number uno. Between Kira and DRG. I think this is a fun one. I mean, I know DRG has been really hit and miss lately. I feel like DRG 1 series looks like, oh my god, DRG looks good. The next season, I'm like, oh my god, I never want to see DRG play StarCraft 2 again. Because he really is just rotating from being this absolute monster of a player to having these absolute nightmare games as well. So, definitely an interesting case, put it that way. An interesting case here for DRG, and excited to see what he can bring, because I do feel like if one matchup has been a little bit more reliable from DRG, it has probably been this it's probably going to be this kind of TVZ matchup. Now that said, Q has been looking pretty good lately. He's also been kind of, you know, neither here nor there. He kind of looks good at times. Other times it's like, Q, we know you can do better. He's not been the monster he was early in 2020 or anything along those lines. So yeah, definitely I think a fun matchup, one where we should have a pretty even set of games here, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hey Montian, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for the 41-month resub. How you doing? Hope you are feeling good, and thanks so much, as always, for supporting the stream. So yeah, guys, I really don't know the results of any of this. I have at some point, when I was really tired, at some point during the week, updated all of the results on Liquipedia, but I have no idea what the results were, because I actually was just so tired. One of the Liquipedia admins messaged me being like, why did you advance this guy over that guy? I'm like, I actually don't know who I advanced, mate. It's probably wrong if you can see the mistake. So, I really have no idea who's playing who, you know, who's where, who's what. The only thing I kind of remember from day one of doing Korean Spring Championship was DRG, I believe, was 0-2, and I think Kua was doing good. That's like roughly where I'm at. I've avoided the Liquipedia page myself to make sure I know as little as possible about results. So, like I say, there's not a lot of story I can give you in terms of how the players are doing in these games, the build up to them, what they need to do to advance, anything like that. We're just going to take the games at face value. Every series is, of course, worth at least $40. And, of course, if it's not worth... and on top of that, obviously, you're fighting to get in the playoffs. It's not just the money, but obviously you're trying to get into the playoffs. Top 2 players will eventually go into the winner bracket of the playoffs, while the 3rd through 6th players will go into the lower bracket, and the bottom 2 players of Korean group will be eliminated. Hey, what's up? Morris Moss coming in for the 3-month resub as well. Thank Mr. Wardy. Thank you, Mr. Morris Moss. As we just kind of go through 5 minutes of pretty standard ZvT, obviously these Banshees were an investment made from Cure that so far haven't really done too much, to be honest. And it's not every day you see Banshees that are ineffective like these, but they've really not done anything. Now, 2 together, of course, is the scariest point of having Banshees, so let's see if they can start to get something done, as between the bases, they are going to find themselves a little bit of damage being done. Okay. That's actually really nice. Going to pick off multiple queens here. The Lings, though, wrapping around the Hellions, and then your Hellion count going down is not a good sign. Finally, the Overseer shows up. Well, the Banshees are out of energy anyway. And they're obviously still going to be able to make it out of there. So, Banshees do escape off to the side. They are going to be able to get themselves away as the couple of Banshees continuing on through. I'm just going to be seeing our Banshee squad still around. I mean, it's still nice to have the Banshees around, even if you're not doing much with them. And I don't mind this. You know, at the end of the day, what have you killed here? 4 queens, a bunch of Lings. It's been a pretty successful little time. I wouldn't be too upset about this, as these Zerglings are going to end up running away up to the top side of the map. Now I've got an armory into the back of the natural expansion as well, so going to be readying up that 2-2 transition pretty much spot on time. Not going to be any delays there from what we can initially see, I would say. And yeah, DRG, I mean, his question mark for me is the Evo Chambers. They are going to be so late, so we're going to have a big upgrade deficit. So DRG will have some serious work to do with those meters to stop this from becoming more of an issue, basically. As that tank fires, the queen goes down. Overlord gets picked off as well. And that hatchery will go down as well over on this side, so gets that picked off. Pretty decent little cleanup of creep spread over on the right here so far. As just going to see how Bane Speed will be finishing soon, and again, those Evo Chambers still coming down into the main base as we spread the creep out over the far left-hand side. Creep's not exactly amazing, though, is it? You know, for 7.5 minutes in the game, we've definitely seen better creep at times, and, well, this little medevac drop accidentally dropped on the low ground, but it actually worked out okay with the mutas flying in. That would have been a dead set of units, or a likely medevac pick-off. Instead, you kind of hold that position as Q, and now he's going to back it up. Looks like he's even going to try and save the siege tank, which, for the moment, he will be able to do. The army of DRG is going to come in from the center, and Q is going to have to stim up and fight this here, which I don't think he minds off creep. Any fight off creep is generally going to be pretty okay for you as a Terran player, unless you're, like, completely outmaxed. Any fight happens off creep when you are kind of, especially when the Zerg doesn't have, like, multi-points to surround. That generally is going to be good, because at the very least, you're probably going to kill a lot of units as they run in, and you're probably going to be able to back away and kite somewhere as well. So, in general, those kind of fights like Kyo doesn't mind happening. And he's also 1-1 against 0-0 in that moment, right? So, everything about that fight was pointing towards it being good for Kyo if DRG had committed. So, kind of position where DRG doesn't really want to attack. But he does want to scare the army back from Kyo as well. He wants to kind of feign strength, be like, yeah, I can take you on. Yeah, I'm not worried. Let's go. Let's fight. And then actually he just wants to get the mutas across the map and kill some SCVs and to try and slow the Terran down, because fighting currently without upgrades is going to be painful. And I mean, we have a long time to go before 1-1 is ready. And even when 1-1 is done, there's going to be a while where there's going to be 2-2 against 1-1 as well. There'll be a little time where the upgrades are even, but the Terran's going to take that lead right back, and that is just the delay on these Evo Chambers from the early game. This even happened after a Cloak Banshee open, and hold that thought, because the Banes are going to roll up this ramp, and all from one direction, like I say, not ideal, especially when you're heading off creep for the last little bit of the run. Next round of units definitely not high enough to fight just yet, and DRG is right to disengage, or to stay disengaged, making sure he doesn't run in with too few units and allowing Q to take too much of an advantage in this position. But yeah, considering this was even like Cloak Banshee investment initially, that really shows you how bad the upgrades were from DRG, because usually when you go Cloak Banshees, you can fall behind sometimes as the upgrades of the Terran player. Against mutas, I would say it should bring you to like a slight lead maybe, but not like a 1-1 versus 0-0 for the entirety of 2-2 building lead kind of thing, right? I mean, now +2 attack kicking in, so the upgrade lead is back here for Kira, as it is just Ling mutas streaming on in. Is there enough Marines to turn these mutas around? It doesn't seem like it. Looks like this will be it. And Kira is going to lose a few medevacs on the tail end here. Last medevac with the tank inside just survives, with reinforcements getting there to push those mutas back. Nicely handled. Midas into the center, picking off, or being picked off one time. Some Marines in the middle doing okay. And come around to the far right as we see Drilling Claws +3 attack upgrade continuing through. Doing pretty well with that still. As you just have the couple of additional Banes in the center. Moving in as well. These Marines are going to go running down the right side and again escaping away from this at the moment. As we've got ourselves a army which from Kira is kind of running out of steam, honestly. You know, all said and done here. 4th base is ready. You know, he is ready for the next step, but it does feel like he's lost a lot of... I really felt like he had a lot of momentum initially here, but... Yeah, them previous fights from DRG did a pretty darn good job at cleaning this up, so credit to DRG, he's doing the right things. As Marines are going to come pushing up, this hatchery will be in some trouble. And right now, it is taking a beating. Lings are going to run by into that 3rd base, so that's going to be in a bit of trouble already here. But Marines are there. Well, honestly, well played by Kira. Gets himself a hatchery, and maintains, you know, control over any potential run-bys that DRG is setting up as well. So just all across the board, handling this well, dealing with it properly. Doing a fantastic job so far as Lings, Mutas, and Banes gonna run in towards this right-hand side, looking to try and catch as much as possible at the moment. And a few of these Marines are staying split back, a few more Lings going down. Just gonna see the rest of these Marines continue to run. Oh, the couple of Banelings connecting. Doing a good job with those Banes just running in when Kira was kind of least prepared to deal with it now. And again, Kira, I guess this big advantage of the 2-2 is really keeping him in some of these fights. But we're getting to the point where economies are definitely changing. I mean, DRG's been on good economy all that time. Kira, it has built up SCVs with the 4th base coming in. That should help him to stabilize these armies a little bit. And that should be a big positive here. As a couple of depots go down on the left. And Hive just building up from DRG in the main base. We've got the hatch on the left side is just now set up as well. So this is kind of a funky 5th hatchery. You don't usually see this one as a 5th base, but when the DRG lost the right side, he's going to put a lot of attention on the left, and I'm intrigued to see how that plays out, because that could give him continued pushes down the left as well. But it also feels like he's not very, you know, it feels like you can take these bases as Kira now with less repercussions, because the Zerg in general is going to have to defend the left side. I don't know. I feel like it kind of gives Kira access to more bases than you want him to have. DRG kind of leaps on this opportunity yet again, jumping on this army, unable to really do all too much. As we back it up and we chill it out, Hive is going to be done. So we are going to see future tech from DRG. This is not just going to be Ling Bay Muta all game. And again, I think that's a testament to how well DRG was able to start trading with a lot of these Mutalisks, etc. Right? Marines come in, a couple of these. Well, that tank's going to go down. The missile turret's going to get picked away at as well. So a couple of SCVs go down. The command center is continuing to take some damage. And just going to see our Marines just going to push the Mutalisks away. So just going to push the Mutas back. As we come back around this side. So again, just going to keep that back for the moment. Following me around the right, just going to see our Marines pushing up the left. Widowmines are burrowing up. Widowmine connects. Queen goes down. And this Ling Bay Muta force about to go running in. I mean, this is going to be a pretty dead planetary fortress in the next few moments. Just going to crash on through. 17 SCVs killed. And it's going to cost you a base on the top left-hand side. And this is what I was kind of talking about. You know, if you want to go and deny these bases, that's why I said these bases might come for free. Because maybe I didn't exactly say this was going to happen, but I say these bases might come for free because if you swing around to deal with those bases, you're going to lose this base, right? The Terran is poised to take that. And actually, the Terran just expanded upwards, which makes a lot of sense as well. Expand towards your Zerg opponent and just rally and protect your bases. So, yeah, I mean, base for a base, but I don't think that is necessarily good for DRG just yet. I mean, it is 5 base still for him against 4-ish bases. Obviously, main base lined out on both sides. This fight is an interesting one. It felt like those Banelings just didn't find a connection on anything. Kyo might get a chance to push forward here. Upgrade advantage in hand. Let's see what he can do. The Ling Bane settles down at the moment. Going to re-engage in yet again. Once more, we commit into this as the Mutas fly through. Going in after that Thor. The Medevac's going to lift up, back it up as well. The Zerglings keep on running through too. And it's just chaos right here, as we do see the Bio Army is going to be pushed back. DRG is going to hold on, and DRG is going to clean this out. Bittermine going to burrow up. The Banes continue to roll on forward, and just going to be seeing the Marauder crashed on into here. Another Marine or two going down. Here's the Lings coming back up around the top. As Amidas come and re-engage down the right-hand side. Tennis plane coming through. The Thor on the way up. Medevac, or Starport, sorry, up in the sky. Reactor is chilling now. I see questions in the chat about when these were from. These were either played. I don't know which games were played on which day anymore, but these were either played on Wednesday. So yesterday. No. Yes. No. These were either played on Tuesday. They were either played on Tuesday or they were played on the Tuesday the week before. The Spring Championship matches, as it says in the title, that were not played, or that were not streamed on our channel. So they were played within the last weekend, a week and a bit, within the last 9 days. That's all I can tell you, because I don't know which game was played on which day. But they've not been cast in English, so they've never been cast in English. They've only been cast in other languages. Ultras are going to be popping very soon. The Chitinous Plane going to be finishing soon. As you see, Amidas are going to go diving and hitting a refinery, so able to catch that already. I mean, little bits of damage. Honestly, DRG's done a fantastic job of keeping Q's economy low, and I mean, to be fair though, like, the reasons I've been kind of against or anti-DRG in this game was A, the upgrades, they are now sorted out. B, the creep, which is still kind of bad, but, well... Yeah, I mean, I guess with Ultras at least you can kind of not worry about creep as much. The only problem now is if he takes a bad fight, and then it comes into, that's a Widow Mine and a half to start, and then it comes down to you don't have the creep to really defend at home on a follow-up. So, I would say that this is going to constitute as a pretty bad fight for DRG. A Baneling hit from the Widow Mine was massive to begin with here, and some of these Ultras will start to go down. But look how easily Q can come across the map chasing. You know, there's barely any creep spread to stop him. He can get all the way up to this upper left-hand base without any issues. On the bottom side, the meter is just going to go in toward the bunker. So that bunker gets cleaned out. Widow Mines are going to burrow up. The other one burrows as well. We just have the Marines kind of sat there as meters do end up flying on away. So flying on back, the rest of this Bioforce is continuing to move up. The right-hand side, these mutas all being picked off. That's actually a pretty big catch right there. That's a really nice catch as we continue over the right-hand side. These Banes are going to roll forward, and DRG, oh, he just doesn't quite get the center of the Marines. Here come the mutas to try and fight this as well. Q taking a serious army supply advantage. We've not really seen an advantage like that all game long, to be honest with you guys. As you come on through, the Ultras and the mutas are continuing to chase and try and make something happen. The Bio Army will turn around and will chase those Ultras out to their death, and man, there's just no Banelings left anymore, so DRG is in trouble. This army, just as it felt his army was finally at a point where it was actually improving, catching up on upgrades, and, you know, he was maybe getting into a better spot, a bad fight on the left side really led to the counterattack, where Kyo just pushes through and is able to take the first map of resub time. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Up 1-0 on the bottom right-hand side. Our blue Terran player is Kua. And in the upper left-hand side, our red Zerg from Team NDV is DRG. No, I mean, people, guys, let's not be mean to people and stuff as well. To be fair, like, I understand if you're just coming in, you haven't watched the stream lately, you're probably like, huh, what is this? Why, what is it from? And, you know, when was it? And all that kind of stuff. You know, you gotta look at it from people who don't watch the point stream all the time, sort of point of view. Because I know that the Spring Championship was delayed and stuff, but I'm also here every day, you know, so... I know, it is a bit of a confusing situation overall. In 2 hours, we will have Reynolds versus Clem. So that is in 2 hours' time. I'm just gonna... I already confirmed it with Reynolds. Maybe I should just quickly confirm with Clem. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And that will be live, the Reynolds Clem matchup. That will be live. We actually might try and do Rain or Skillers before then, because then it means Rain or Clem will straight up tell us how the group's going to end, rather than us having Rain or Clem and then be like, well, it depends on Rain or Skillers. You guys know what I mean? Alright, Extractor coming down from DRG in the main base. Just going to see this Overlord out to the right-hand side. SCV of Q is going to head to the upper left-hand side. Something wild, obviously Lightshade, this is really funny, but Kira seems to just love to play Zerg maps. I don't know what it is about Kira, but he always seems to end up, like, if you ask me about Jagger and Lightshade, especially in this map pool, I kind of feel like it's like, oh, well, yeah. Those are the two maps the Zerg picked, so what did the Terran pick? And they're like, no, the Terran picked one of these, and I'm like, what? You know, this means that Kira had to pick, you know, veto something, or maybe vetoed Romanticide, maybe doesn't like that map, but like maybe he vetoed a Blackburn? You know what I mean? Like, he's got to veto one of the maps that doesn't really make too much sense for a Terran to veto. Maybe he vetoed 2000 and Romanticide if he doesn't really want to play on anything that's like super large. Jagannatha has that kind of size effect, but in a bit of a different way. How's that link speed setting up in the main? A few lings are going to be nibbling through the unbuildable plates down here. I'm just going to see that Reaper is moving out. So Reaper going to head on down the left-hand side. Hatchery of DRG is just going to be coming up as well, with that link speed still coming through, drone still on the way. And yeah, continuing to build up at the moment as we get ourselves running into this game number 2. This Reaper and a couple of Hellions are going to come up the left-hand side, and they're going to go, and we see a couple of the Queens turning around to push that Reaper out of there. Blink speed is coming up, the Cloak is coming in on the starport as well. That's a lot of build-up right now as the Reaper and 2 Hellions make their way out around the center. So joining up, pushing up this ramp, and just going to be seeing the that's cute. Suppose he knows where that creep tumor is at from before. Just puts the Reaper on it and says, bye-bye. See you later. Well, not from before. He just obviously saw it when he shot it the first time. Good job, Wardy. Duh. Turns out Q has a better memory than I do. Alright, nicely handled. You just see the Hellions and the Reaper just hanging out on the left-hand side. The single Zergling down here from DRG hanging out. As again, a couple of Hellions will continue up the left. Queens moving around as well, and just going to be seeing our Stimpack building as the factory moves off the reactor. Just going to see an additional racks coming in. That's going to be 2 racks down into this main base, so just setting that up. So 2 additional racks in the main. Again, the Hellions on the left will continue to move it around here just a little bit and seeing what they can try and get up to. Baneling Nest, Lair, all of the Zerglings, the Queen, all coming through for the moment. As that Banshee flies in to grab a drone, so able to pick off a drone nice and quickly, and still just seeing the rest of these Hellions trying to push through, but not quite finding the chance just yet. Banshee gets the 3 kills, so not bad on the harassment up on this side. Hellions back and around the left. You see the Extractors coming up here. The Banshee's going to shut down a couple of these drones. Another well-handled moment as we move in, looking for a little bit of additional damage. The Hellions still sent over to the left here, so send out to the left. Hanging around at the moment. Creep team is going to be picked away at once again. Just little bits of damage, right? Good control of the map. It doesn't have to be major damage done every single time you poke in, but Denying this creep, it's denying map control. It gives you an easier time to push up, and especially creep towards the 4th base, which is where you want to fight as a Terran. This is where you're expanding toward already. You know, this is exactly what you want to be getting done is... I mean, DRG sees everything that's setting up with this Overlord, right? So he knows what's happening. He roughly knows, he roughly sees. I just didn't really get to check in on stuff, but... yeah, I imagine he has a decent idea of what's going on at this stage, right? It's nothing really spectacular. The thing about TVZ is... the only thing to really scout from here on out is, obviously, once you know there's a 3rd base, maybe tanks or Widow Mines is something you can figure out. And then on top of that, does he want to go 8 racks, or does he want to go, like, you know, a full 4th CC? So not really much else to see at this stage, right? Everything that's coming in the next minute or so is going to be pretty standard. It's going to be the typical, oh, I just got my upgrades for the Marines. Let's make use of them because I've also got medevacs to try and really capitalize on the situation sort of, you know, thing. Marines and Hellions coming through, going to cancel that 4th base again. No creep in front of it will make it a difficult fight. And it's just good timing from Kira as well. You can see DRG's setup going into those Mutalisks very quickly once again. And as he goes into those Mutalisks very quickly, there's no Banes on the map. There is no Baneling speed on the map. There's just nothing to deal with this army yet. So, good time to fight. Moves in easily. And just going to be seeing the rest of the Hellions out to the right-hand side. We still got Ling Muta up to the top. This army continues to come on through. A couple of these Hellions will morph into Hellbats. So we've got a push forward continuing. So a few of these group gyms continuing to go down. There go the Lings and the Mutas diving in. Missile turret goes down. SCV's being picked off. That's a lot of workers being killed. As our Marines will make their way to this topside hatchery. It's taking some damage. Just going to be seeing still firing up a storm as a lot of these units go down. Bane's going to try and roll in. Not do too well as we see this command center just go down. I mean, this is kind of massive though because you've killed a 3rd CC, so the Terran now is kind of on the clock to actually kill bases himself, but I mean, DRG is just never going to have upgrades in this game. No 1-1, Bane Speed is an eternity away. If he actually survives for Bane Speed finishing, then Q is probably dead anyway, right? For the fact he's been off no 3rd CC for such a long time. Then again, I guess you've killed the 3rd hatchery, so maybe that doesn't really come into play as much. Uh-oh, this is definitely a troubling situation as Marines are going to pull back. These tanks are going to unsiege, and we are going to reset just a little bit here. As our melee upgrade sets up for DRG, gets that ready to go. And this Marine tank Hellbat force comes down through to the center of the map. Mutas hanging around here from DRG as well. Gonna go in. Lings and Banes wanting to try and dive in on an opportunity there too. Doesn't quite get the chance. As we'll see a few more Banelings of DRG gonna go down on the far left-hand side. Marines, again, just chipping at some Mutalisks. That's about it for the moment. Marines gonna damage that Overlord just a little bit. And again, just gonna be seeing our rest of our army continue to move around. Gonna see a couple of these Ovies will be taking damage. As the Lings, the Banes, the Mutas all pushing on through. We're gonna split these Marines back a little bit. So a lot of these Banes getting pushed back. And that's just gonna be GG's. A base for a base is not something you see a lot of the time at this stage of a TV.